Hi there and welcome to this video today on what's new with the Yolobox Ultra. So in this video today, I'll be giving you a rundown of all of the new features of the Yolobox Ultra and specifically comparing it with the Yolobox Pro, which I've also done a video on, the link of that, which you can find in the video description. So there's been a raft of new updates to the Yolobox Ultra, and some of them are hardware, some of them are software. So if we begin with the hardware upgrades that the Yolobox Ultra has, it's mainly to do with the connectivity, but also there's some under the hood improvements as well. Now, in terms of connectivity, if we go to have a look at the back of the unit, we've actually got 4 HDMI inputs now. I've only got 3 connected, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can take up to 4 HDMI sources in. 2 of these at the moment are connected to camera, 1 is connected to a MacBook, and then this one here is an HDMI out, so that's sending me a program feed to an external monitor that I'm using at the moment, and that just gives me a display of what would be going out over my live stream if I was streaming. As well as the 4 HDMIs, we also have 2 USB-A ports. 1 is connected to an old 720p webcam there, and then on the front of the unit we have a USB-C port here. We've actually got 2 USB-C ports, but 1 is reserved for power only, whereas the other USB-C port can take in a video interface over that. So in terms of hardware upgrades under the hood, we've got a new CPU inside the Yolobox Ultra. It's a Qualcomm 865 CPU, and it's touted as offering a substantial performance boost compared to the one in the Yolobox Pro, which was a 660 CPU. What I've noticed from using the unit is that it's very snappy, there's very little lag. We can jump into any of the menus and the device is extremely responsive, so you're not getting any lag or slowdown. As well as the CPU upgrade, there's also an upgrade to the amount of RAM that you have. There's now 8 GB in the Yolobox Pro Ultra compared to the 3 GB found in the Yolobox Pro. So all round substantial upgrades to the hardware of the unit just to make sure it's capable of handling all of the different feeds and giving a snappy and responsive feel when you're using the interface. Now, the first new software feature that I'm going to talk about that they've added to the Yolobox is the ability to stream in vertical mode. And you can see now I have the unit swapped around 90 degrees, so it's vertical. And if I go into the vertical streaming mode, you'll see that the interface changes and we now have the ability to stream to platforms like TikTok or Instagram in 9:16 vertical mode. We can, if we pop the video preview on for a second, we can see there, as long as we've got the cameras orientated in vertical mode, so in portrait mode rather than landscape, we can obviously have a correctly orientated stream. And so for those people that are wanting to stream to those platforms such as Instagram and TikTok, obviously the ability to have your feeds displayed correctly and all set up specifically for vertical portrait mode, it's super handy. Now in the vertical mode as well, if I just go ahead and turn off the video preview, they've also added a App Store mode. So you can see here we have Instagram and TikTok already on there, but if we go into this one here, so this just allows you to sideload other apps, so other platforms outside of the ones that are already installed, TikTok and Instagram. You can do that through this app store here. Now, one of the main headline upgrades of the Yolobox Ultra over the Pro is now the ability to take in 4K inputs and also stream in 4K. So you'll see here there's a little drop down, and if your camera supports it, you can select up to 4K over HDMI as an input and then stream out once again if your platform supports it in up to 4K. Another upgrade to the software side is the audio mixer settings on the Yolobox Ultra. Previously on the Pro, there had been certain limitations about which devices would allow you to take audio in, and now effectively any source that you connect, as long as there's a microphone built into the unit, will take audio into the Yolobox Ultra. So you can see here HDMI 1 and HDMI 2, these 2 sources here, which are both cameras, they're both showing up just using the internal mics within those cameras. HDMI 3 is not showing up because that's a laptop and I don't have the microphone enabled on that. But you'll see here the USB webcam that I have connected, which has a microphone built into it, is showing up as an audio source. So there's really no limitations now on the audio mixer side. You can basically take in any audio source over any input and have that as an independent feed. You can mute those, you can put them on the program feed, you can mix them independently. So that is a really handy thing to have and gives you loads of flexibility over the audio options. Another upgrade that they have made to the Ultra is the ability to now encode in H.265. So once again, if your streaming platform supports it, we have the ability to select either H.264 and H.265. And it does actually say that H.265 is not supported for streaming to Facebook and Twitch at the moment due to the platform limitation. So that's not a limitation of the Yolobox Ultra, rather the streaming platform. They've also added SRT, so secure, reliable transport, in addition to RTMP. So if you are wanting to stream over that, you have the option to do that now on the Yolobox Ultra. In the Yolobox Ultra now is the ability to do ISO recordings, so isolated recordings. And what this means is rather than just recording the program feed, so what's being outputted over the stream, you can record each individual input separately. And this is really handy if you're wanting to do post-production, you're wanting to maybe stream but then also record and then do a different edit later on. So you can record each of your feeds independently. And you can see here, you can select the recording sources. So you can select each individual one separately and then make sure that each of those sources are captured separately from the program feed, and that gives you extra options in post-production. Another feature of the Yolobox Ultra is the ability to add NDI streams. So you go into add a video source and here we can select NDI. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is still in sort of a beta phase and it does require the purchase of an NDI license, which you can do through YOLO Live. But if you are looking to add an NDI source to your streaming setup, the Yolobox Ultra has the capabilities to do that. So the final feature that the Yolobox Ultra has that I wanted to talk about is the capability to use network bonding. Now, once again, a bit like the NDI streams, this is a paid for service and this is a subscription service depending on how much data that you want to use. Just a little explainer about how network bonding works is it effectively utilizes multiple different internet connections to ensure the stream is as stable as possible. We've all watched streams where the feed becomes choppy and breaks up, and that's effectively because somewhere in the internet pipeline the data amount needing to be transferred is outstripping the capabilities of the network. And network bonding looks to overcome this. The analogy is sort of if you had a horse and cart, and if you have a single horse pulling the cart and the horse gets tired, the cart slows down. Whereas if you have 4 or 5 horses pulling the cart, if one gets tired, the other 3 or 4 will take up the work and the cart continues along at the same speed. Effectively, what this does is it allows you to combine multiple internet sources into one single faster and more reliable stream. So things like Wi-Fi, Ethernet, 4G, 5G, etc. And if that's something that you're looking to do, then the Yolobox Ultra has the capabilities to do that, but it is a paid for service. So that's something to bear in mind and investigate exactly how much that's going to cost you based on the amount of data that you're wanting to transmit. So hopefully that video has been useful. If you do have any questions or comments on the Yolobox Ultra, do drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you next time.